it's crazy, but it's
You're watching Channel Z, the world's leading zombie apocalypse channel, broadcasting live from Studio Z.
Makes me act the way I do.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Hey Athena, good. How you doing?
I'm good. Are you ready for Zam?
Getting there. I think. How about you?
I'm getting excited about it because all pieces are starting to come together. Some amazing speakers, and we'll have a bunch of really cool art projects incorporated with Zam. And it is not going to be like any other academic meeting you've ever been to, ever.
So tell me what ZAM is.
ZAM is the Zombie Apocalypse Medicine meeting, and it is a really interdisciplinary meeting that is focused on kind of how we can use the frame of the zombie apocalypse to grapple with all sorts of issues that we are facing in the present and that we might face in the future. So everything from, understanding how parasites can hijack their hosts, to looking at how we're influenced by peers, to understanding how diseases spread. So it's really a huge space for us to engage about these issues from a scientific perspective, and also from the arts and humanities side. And it kind of brings all those together in one place. And basically just brings a lot of delicious brains together in one place so you can consume them conveniently without having to go very far.
So that brings me to my next question, which is, are people actually getting together for ZAM this year?
ZAM is going to be totally online and live stream. So we will be using StreamYard like we are for this Q&A. And we'll also be streaming some shows that we'll be producing ahead of time as well. And then we'll have some interactive workshops that will probably be over Zoom. So it's going to be a remote conference, and we're going to have a lot of opportunities for interaction online. So people will be able to both, participate in these interactive workshops, and then whenever we're doing the live streaming, which will be for a lot of the conference, people will be able to ask questions and interact with us as we go.
So for our speakers and presenters, what's going to be involved? Are we going to have people giving sort of traditional talks, or what's that going to look like?
Yeah, well, here, let me introduce, we have a question from our audience from Charlotte Kendall. She's asking how exactly the remote participation is going to work, because she's concerned about COVID. And as many of you know, COVID is one of the potential candidates for the cause of the zombie apocalypse. There's many possible reasons for the zombie apocalypse. Part of the goal of the meeting is to try to kind of sort out why the zombie apocalypse is happening. And so, yeah, we're concerned about COVID, but really any and all reasons behind the zombie apocalypse that's happening. So we're having the meeting remotely in order to protect us and all of the participants from zombie apocalypse in general. So that's really why we're holding the meeting in the way that we're doing. And we're right now really exploring ways to make it as interactive as possible, like using this interface where we can have people ask questions from Facebook and from YouTube and other platforms.
So going back to what I was asking before, if somebody is going to be submitting an abstract, will they then record themselves? Like, how will that work?
Yeah, so some of the sessions will be live streamed, sort of like we're doing now. So people will be able to ask questions live, and then others will be pre-recorded, and we'll have some opportunity for discussion or question after. So that's something that we're figuring out now, how to be as flexible as possible about it, so that way we can have many ways that people can interact with us and with their audience as they're presenting.
Cool. And now we're gonna have like 90-second talks and then 10-minute talks and then plenary speakers, right?
Yeah, so we have some featured talks that include like David Quammen, who's an amazing author who works on evolution and disease, and he wrote a book called Spillover, which is amazing. He's also one of the people who we spoke to on Zombified, one of our most popular episodes, actually. And his talk, his plenary talk, his featured talk, is about how COVID is a success story.
How COVID is say that one more time.
A success story. COVID is a success story. So he takes the perspective of COVID itself, and from an evolutionary perspective, COVID has been very successful. I mean, at our expense, but yeah. So that will be one of the featured talks that we'll have. And we have a lot of other amazing speakers. We can talk about them later, but yeah, so there'll be these plenaries, these feature talks, and then some sort of regular length talks. They'll be about 10 minutes, and then 90-second talks, which are essentially what we're doing instead of poster session, because it offers people a chance to kind of in a quick way give a summary of what their work is about, and we'll have some opportunities for people to then interact. David, it looks like we have a bunch of questions from the audience here. So Erica O'Neill is asking exactly about this. Does she need to present a traditional 20-minute conference talk? Will it be shorter with a panel or what? So we're not doing any 20-minute long talks, partially because it's challenging, I think, online for people to just sit there and listen for 20 minutes. So our sort of traditional talks are going to be 10 minutes long, with 2 minutes for questions when we do have the interactive ones and transition. And then there's also these shorter ones, the 90-second ones. If there's a group of people who you want to have a session with, you can present or you can submit a session as a group, and then actually have that session together. So there are many options, but if you're sort of not sure what to do, the default good option is to just submit an abstract for a 10-minute talk. That'll be the most like kind of a normal academic talk of the options that are available.
Cool. Now there's going to be a focus. So we've done a lot of focus on sort of science, and now we're also going to have a sort of enhanced focus on the humanities this time.
Yeah. Here we have actually a question about a humanities talk. Ogbog Tetons asks, so Ogbog has written a paper about holograms and their use in popular culture in raising the dead. About like Tupac performing, for example. So could this be considered for a talk? How close do you have to adhere to the definition of the zombie? I'd say, absolutely, Ogbog, this, would be the kind of talk we would love to have on the humanities side of things. And it would be wonderful to have that.
Yeah, no, that would be perfect, because it raises a lot of sort of questions about, ethical questions and things like that, which I think we like to do with Zombified. Of once somebody's passed away and now we're bringing them back and having them perhaps sell products or whatever. It's it's a really interesting topic. So
yeah, and I think one of the reasons that we really like zombies and the zombie apocalypse kind of as a frame is because it does offer a lot of options for bringing in themes having to do with identity and with who we are, and the issue of what is this sort of space between life and death, and technology in a lot of ways is kind of challenging what we think of as living versus dead. So
right. So and tech is one of the big themes we're focusing on this year as well, right? So
yeah, the theme officially for the meeting is sex and tech, but that just means that we have a number of our featured talks that are on those topics. You can present If you want to submit a paper that's on those topics, that's great, but you absolutely don't have to. You can just submit something having to do with zombies or the apocalypse, or human challenges that we're encountering in the present day, that are relevant to kind of how we think about ourselves as humans and in relation to the rest of the world and the changing world that we're all living in.
Cool. Now, what about people who just want to come? They might not want to submit something, but they'd like to participate. They'd like to basically come watch and learn about all this stuff. How does somebody go about registering? And
yeah, well, we would love to have you be a part of the meeting, whether you want to submit an abstract or you just want to register to attend. So you can do both of those at zombiemed.org. And the registration is $99, and it covers all of the talks and participation in the workshops. And also we will send you a Channel Z t-shirt as well, and a surprise gift. So, you'll get some fun conference and Channel Z garb as well as getting the chance to be a part of ZAM 2020, which is October 15th through 18th, by the way. So
cool.
Yeah.
So let's see. What else do people need to know?
Well, so one of the other things that's really unique about ZAM is that we have artists as well as scientists and humanities scholars. So really, bring together many, many different voices. We have, ER doctors as well that are a big part of it. So, we've had some Q&As with Dr. Zed, who is the star of the Dr. Zed show. But we have many, many artists that are a part of what we're doing. And actually, I wanted to invite Pam to join us, Pam Winfrey, so we could chat a little bit about the arts side of ZAM. Let me bring her in right now.
Coming in.
Hi, Pam. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Great to have you here. Thank you very, very much for joining us.
You're so welcome.
So Pam, you were the brains behind the arts program at ZAM last year, the first year that we held it. What was your favorite part of the arts program that you put together?
Well, I really did like Rachel Mayeri's piece on Toxoplasma gondii, which is this virus. It's a virus, right?
No, it's an amoeba, I believe.
Oh, an amoeba. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, it's this creature that goes into cats and makes them behave in different ways. And what was cool about her project was, I don't know. I actually am a cat video person. It's like you go down this rabbit hole of watching cat videos because they're just so funny. But she kind of made this idea that part of the reason we like that is because we're being zombified by cats in a different way than just organically. And I just thought that was a really great way to think about all the different things that actually zombify us. It's technology, it's things like our cats. I have 2 cats, and I'm absolutely, especially under COVID, I am absolutely zombified by my animal. No question about it.
Yeah, so Rachel's piece was this sort of it had multiple screens, right? So that you could see these different aspects of Toxoplasma gondii's life cycle, both inside, sort of microscopically. Then there were some screens that had cats on them playing and things like that, right? So it was this sort of multi-scale art installation really about Toxoplasma.
Yeah, the installation was really fun. When you walked into it, you'd hear all these meow, 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 because it had all of these cat videos that she had pulled just off the net, plus the science. So it was a really nice combination of the art and science. And then another cool piece was Jillian McDonald. She's actually kind of thinks of herself as a zombie artist, and she did a piece called Patient Zero, which was basically, you can see it online and Instagram right now. You can see some of the hits. But we had students and professors and all these people sort of wandering through the ASU campus being zombies, and then she videotaped them and then edited them into these really small little pieces. So it was this very interesting experiment where people were performing out in the campus, but of course there's all these other people that are looking at these people being zombies, and they're kind of going, wow, what the heck is going on here? And so they were sort of zombified by this improvisational performance. So that was pretty fun too. And then we had a whole film program. We had a student sculpture. That was, what was his name? That was Mario Monguia. He said he had a bunch of pieces called Make Me a Monster. That was the exhibition. And then you could go in and actually make a monster out of clay if you wanted to and take it home with you. And so it was a lot of local stuff, but one of the things that's really great about where we are right now is now the entire universe is our oyster. We can accept artworks and proposals from people all over the world because it's online. So I welcome anybody to send me a proposal. I think that you can see a little thing. There it is. Email Pam at pamela.l.winfrey@asu.edu if you have questions. And please be very specific about that, because I do have there's another Pamela Winfrey at ASU that frequently gets my emails. So it's pamela.l.winfrey@asu.edu. And I welcome anybody talking and approaching me about some of their ideas, because one of the things that's cool about the zombie idea is that you can talk about so many different things. You can talk about ants and how there's certain fungi that attack them and then make them go up a tree, and then a bird eats them. And I mean, there's just so many things. Or like driverless cars. So interesting. I mean, I think we're in a funny way kind of living in a zombie environment. And that was even before COVID. And now we all understand that we're all living as a type of zombie just because our entire behaviors had to change.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different sort of approaches that artists can take to the zombie apocalypse, broadly conceived as we are conceiving it for this meeting. So really, if you have an artwork that you have completed or that you're almost done with that you think would be a good fit for what we're doing at ZAM, definitely get in touch with Pam at PamelaLWinfrey@asu.edu, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. Pam, any last words that you'd like to share?
Well, I'm kind of excited about, we're working with this group of students we call the Z Team. And they're actually going to be curating their own online exhibitions, which I think is a really fun thing. And we're also we're really thinking in interesting ways. I mean, that's a great thing about this topic. Like we're in conversation with an intimacy coordinator, which is kind of like a stunt. It kind of came off of like stunt coordinators for film, but they realized there was a real need for actors to have some agency when they are having to do these sex scenes. It's really tough. So they've now developed this intimacy coordinator role, and we have one of the best in the world. We're talking to her, and maybe we're going to do something with her in conjunction with a choreographer who we're also in contact with, and maybe doing some kind of workshops. So it's not just talking heads, because we all want to be able to use our bodies, and we might be able to do some kind of interesting workshops. So we got all sorts of cool plans.
Yeah. Actually, this is a great chance for us to talk about the workshops, because part of our goal is to not have people just be, sitting at their desks or standing at their standing desks all day for a meeting, but really have chances for people to move, to interact, to try things out. So we'll have our amazing illustrator, Neil Smith. He is going to be doing an illustration workshop. So if you want to learn how to sketch yourself as a zombie, Neil will be giving illustration workshops at the meeting. And we're also talking with Ida O'Brien, the intimacy coordinator, and also Carl Flink, who is a contact improvisation leader. Really, he's one of the leading voices in contact improvisational dance in the world, about how we can incorporate these elements of movement and creativity in workshops for the conference. So I'm really excited to see how that is all going to come together and play out, and to just get to be a part of those workshops. I think will be really, really fun.
Maybe we'll develop dancing desks.
Dancing desks. Yeah, I mean, right, they have the walking desks with the treadmill underneath, so you can have a dancing desk with like a little platform, and you gotta, you know, tap to the side, and then you gotta reach up over here and then reach up over there.
Zombified.
Well, Pam, thank you so much for sharing your brains with us. And don't forget, email Pam if you have a piece of art or a proposal for an artwork for ZAM, and like to get her feedback about that. So Pam, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wonderful brains. All right.
If anyone has any questions, is there a way for them to contact us and ask?
Yeah, so if you go to our website here, the zombiemed.org, there's lots of information about the conference. And if you still have questions, there's a box where you can submit questions. You can also ask us right now on Facebook or on YouTube if you are watching our live stream. And so it looks like we actually have a question here right now from Charlotte, who's asking, do I have to pay a registration fee if my talk is accepted? Yes, so we have to cover the costs of making the conference happen. And so if you are giving a talk, you do still have to pay a registration fee. But we have a few featured talks that are longer talks that are from really amazing, astounding people who those are invited. But if you haven't already been invited to give a talk of that sort, then you do have to pay a registration fee for your talk when you give your talk. So yeah. We have another question. Dave, do you want to say anything, or should I pull up another question here?
Sure. Yeah. Can you pull it up?
Yeah, great. All right. So Erica is asking, she says, you mentioned shows. What are the different shows that will be on Channel Z, and what is Channel Z in relation to the conference? Does our work end up on that? That is a great question, Erica. So for this meeting, we have just been trying to re-envision an academic meeting as something much more fun and engaging. And so we've created this Channel Z, which is television in the zombie apocalypse. And the idea is basically that it's a frame for us to have the conference material be presented in a way that's fun and much more engaging. And so Channel Z is it's a channel that is on YouTube. It's also on our website, which is channelz.org. So we have two websites. We have the zombiemed.org, which is where you sign up for the conference, and then channelz.org, which is where the meeting will be streamed from, partially at least. And you can go to channelz.org and actually see some of the Q&As like this one, and ones from Dr. Z, to get kind of a sense of what Channel Z will be like. So Dave, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the shows?
Yeah. Well, one other thing is there are ways that people can participate in some of the shows separately from submitting a talk, like the Go Bag Challenge, right? So our shows I'll start with that one, because that's one where people will show all the different things that they would keep in a backpack, like a go bag, in case there's an apocalypse. And then our judges, which are Emily Zarka, right? And are we still putting together our judges for that?
Yeah, so Emily Zarka is the host of Go Bag Challenge, and she is going to be inviting a rotating panel of judges to judge people's go bags. We'll probably be having one episode of Go Bag Challenge that will be at ZAM 2020, but we'll have future episodes later as well. So yeah, but Emily Zarka is the host of that show.
And then we have Late Night Brains, where we'll be chatting with people. and then there'll be the Brain Dead Theater, where we'll be sort of watching different movies and short films, sort of mystery science theater style, right? And if people want to suggest things, I assume we'd be open to that if they want to send us suggestions or things like that, right?
Yeah. So Brain Dead Theater is really a way for us to bring forward a lot of really interesting scholarship around zombie movies and zombie TV shows in a fun way, where we get to actually watch either the whole movie or clips or whole short films, and then discuss them with scholars who actually study the genre, and sometimes also with the directors and creators of the shows and movies themselves. So Brain Dead Theater will be a really, really fun way for us to bring that zombie genre to life, so to speak.
And then there's the Dr. Zed show, where people will learn about wilderness medicine, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be live as well, right? Where people can write in questions, and Dr. Zed can answer their questions, and they'll learn both about how to survive a zombie apocalypse and how to survive a lot of other sort of disaster scenarios or survival scenarios, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, any kind of bite that you might encounter, zombie or otherwise, you'll be prepared to at least, do the immediate first aid properly to increase their chances of survival and decrease your chances of infection, zombie or otherwise. So.
And then there's Eat, Pray, Run, where people are cooking show.
Yeah, cooking, eating, foraging, trying to survive in a world where you have to, forage for yourself.
And what do you think would be the best way for our viewers to interact with that? That would probably be, they should get some ingredients out and follow along, right?
Yeah, or maybe go for a walk and pick out some stuff, and then you can figure out whether it's edible or not. And Undead Live, which is kind of going to be our flagship show, because Undead Live is sort of our news channel, you could say, for the zombie apocalypse. And Undead Live is going to be the frame in which we have many of our featured talks. It's going to be a frame for some of our organized sessions where we have panels and discussions. And the flavor of Undead Live is really cable news show. And that's going to be the way that we communicate throughout the ZAM meeting in this kind of format, like what you and I are doing right now. But for a much larger group of people who are joining us for ZAM. And again, ZAM is Zombie Apocalypse Medicine Meeting, October 15th through 18th of 2020.
All right. Do we have any other questions from our audience?
Let's see. Well, we have Erica, who says she's going to see us at ZAM. So I am looking forward to seeing you also at ZAM 2020, Erica. And Dave, I'm super excited that we're going to get to keep doing a lot of what we've been doing with the Zombified podcast, but now through Channel Z. And I just want to mention, there was a question a little bit earlier about whether your work will end up on Channel Z. And if your work gets chosen to be part of the live stream in one way or another, then it will be available for the public in the long term, so that people will be able to see your work. So our goal with Channel Z right now is really to create a frame for this academic meeting that will be more fun, but we're going to be producing some content for general audiences in the medium term and long term that really helps to bridge between sciences, medicine, humanities, all those disciplines together with each other, and also with the general public. So that's really like the very big picture of Channel Z is opening up those lines of communication through a channel that's fun and engaging and has a space both for sort of serious inquiry and really bringing in science and medicine, and also has space for arts and humanities and some playfulness and improvisation around the zombie apocalypse.
And so even though Erica will see us at ZAM 2020 in October, registration and abstracts, that's open now. And
that
so
is open now. Yeah, so you can submit your abstract through zombiemed.org. You can also register at zombiemed.org, and we are accepting abstract until August 15th. So you've got about 2 weeks to get your abstract in if you're interested in presenting your work at ZAM.
Yeah, so it'd be good to do that right away. So
Definitely.
So cool. All right. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, this was really fun. Dave, I always enjoy when you share your brains with me. So thank you.
You too. I enjoy when you share your brains with me and with all of us. So cool.
All right.
I will see you probably before then. So, but I'll definitely see you at ZAM. So.
Yep. See you at ZAM. Bye.
All right. Bye.